Xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and other nationals last week reared its ugly head again in South Africa. Though no one has been reported dead, many in that country in search of a better life will have to start life all over again with their properties and livelihoods all gone during a rage of xenophobic madness. The federal government last week summoned the High Commissioner of South Africa to Nigeria. We'll bring you details later of that. Also on the program tonight, the feud between U.S. President Donald Trump and the media doesn't seem set to end. We'll bring you the latest on that also. I am Segun Ojumu, and this is Hindsight. Segun Ojumu. On this program, we'll be bringing you news, views, and exclusive interviews with
security that cut across humanitarian aid to.
It becomes easier to do business in Nigeria. Now,
Nigeria.
Last week, South Africa was again on the news, but this time it was for all the wrong reasons. South Africa has proven yet again it cannot exercise its xenophobic demons. Nigerians living in townships around Pretoria and parts of Johannesburg had their houses burnt and properties destroyed as an angry mob went on a rampage. Those mobs, whose videos went viral last week, accused immigrants and, of course, Nigerians of taking their jobs and of committing crimes. As all of that went on, Nigeria's government summoned the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Lulu Mnguni, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and read to him what was in fact a riot act. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, E.J Agbanayinma, demanded a stop to the looting and destruction of the properties of Nigerians and other nationals. Here is the minister reading the riot act to the South African envoy.
Is seriously concerned about the incidents of attacks of a xenophobic nature against foreigners, including Nigerians, in South Africa. The latest incidents, which occurred on the 5th of February 2017 in Rustenville, a suburb of Johannesburg, and again on the 18th of February 2017 in Pretoria West, involved the attack on not only Nigerians but also other nationalities. The attacks resulted in arson, looting, and the displacement of families. Locals accused foreigners for the rise in criminal activities in the areas of the attacks and used this to justify the attacks.
In his response, the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria was at pains in expressing his country's regrets at the latest outbreak. He said his country was doing all it could to put a stop to the attacks. It will be recalled that 2 years ago, Nigerians also bore the brunt of these sorts of attacks. It is unclear if anyone has been punished for their actions.
I clearly indicated that it is not for our government to can decide on compensation. Because those people were not acting on instructions. They were criminals, and of course they had to be arrested. And then if there's a way in which certain claims and demands can be made on them, then of course
The Binational Commission had agreed.
Well, yes, I don't know. I was not part of that, but I will follow up on that. On the question of that last year, I came here 5 times. I'm not so sure. 5 times, I'm not so sure, really. But I was, of course, summoned to talk about, there was an issue of a person in January last year that died during in Kempton Park during the police raid on people who were dealing in drugs. And of course, that person died. From the police side, they said that now he died as a result of swallowing the tracks.
Okay, before we leave that subject, let's hear what a federal lawmaker has to say about this subject.
You say Nigerians are doing involved in illegal activities. The law should take its course. Nobody should take law into his or her head. Okay? But to tell me, to not use a blackmail, a cheap blackmail, looking for a soft landing, they'll say, oh, because they were involved in illegal activity. Can you prove that? Even if that's the case, it is the police that will apprehend them, take them to court, charge them. If they are found guilty, okay. If they are found innocent, fine. But until proven guilty, you are an innocent. Nobody have the right to do what the South Africans are doing to Nigerians in South Africa. There are many South Africans here in Nigeria. Are you not telling me we should not start killing them? I don't do things like that. I believe in dialogue. I believe in peaceful resolution. But if they want to continue doing what they are doing, we will have no option to retaliate. Nobody has monopoly of violence. We have South African businessmen and women here in Nigeria. As a lawmaker, I want to make sure I'm on the side of the law. But they can't continue to kill our people and we remain quiet. One American killed in any part of this world, America will rise and we fight that country. So we don't need to wait until they kill all our Nigerians in South Africa before we now begin to talk about it. So we must take a proactive measure. We must take action as soon as possible.
That was federal lawmaker Johnson Agbanayinma there. We're going to take a quick break now and then we'll return with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you are watching Hindsight. Now, I have with me in the studio the man you saw in that video, the lawmaker. He's here in the studio with us in the flesh, Johnson Agbanayinma. Thank you very much for coming to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you to our viewers out there.
Now, you saw the videos, the xenophobic attacks on Nigerians in South Africa. Tell me, what is the National Assembly doing about this matter?
Well, I must say this, that the chairperson of Foreign Affairs in the House and the chairperson again, they are both wonderful ladies of diaspora, and the speaker and the leadership and members House of Representatives. I think it's something that that all of us, I'm very angry, full of anger, but at the end of the day, yes, that's normal to be angry. Is to look for the best solution, to see how we can really speak to the South African government. And I'm also happy that the Nigerian government are also doing excellently well to, curtail, to speak. And they are very, very proactive. And I must also appreciate all the effort poured into it. And because this is about we, Nigerians, and, we must come together, whether you are APC, PDP, what affect one Nigerian affect all of us. And nobody has a monopoly of violence. And it's unfortunate. For many years, Nigeria government have always been on the side of South Africa. In the apartheid days, Nigerian government spent billions to support so that apartheid can come to an end. A lot of our musicians, Sonny Okosu, Majef Ashek, many musicians, Fela, may so rest in peace, and many other, wonderful Nigerians, those still living, those that are gone to meet the Lord. Every Nigerian, we're all eager, very passionate about it, because what was going on in South Africa wasn't fair to black race, human race. So, but today, when I see the relationship between South Africa and Nigeria, and the way South African sees Nigerians, instead of to accept them, to appreciate them, we shouldn't go this way, because we are all brothers and sisters. If we are blaming the white folks, that the white folks, maybe they have not been able to accept us, we ourselves, as black men and women, we have not been able to accept ourselves. So we shouldn't blame the white folks, we should blame ourselves.
What do you think is responsible for this? Yes, Nigeria played a huge role in ending apartheid, but it seems as if the new generation South Africans, the 20-somethings, perhaps they do not know this part of history. I mean, isn't that, whose fault is that really? What do you put that down to?
If you don't know where you are coming from, you will never know where you are going. And this part of history, you must know, how, those who are enjoying the freedom in South Africa today, they don't know how they got there. Those who fought the battle, and Nigerians who were there with them in the struggle, in pain, and not only there supporting them financially, I think the government supported South Africa so much. And I will expect, the least I want them is to appreciate us, to appreciate Nigerians. That we are all, when you see your color, look at yourself, blood flows through us. Look, we are all created by God. And we say, Bob Marley says, as long as you are a black man, you are an African. We are all African. We should be our brother's keeper, not to be witch hunting or taking laws in your hands. Yes.
Now, last week, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, E.J Agbanayinma, while addressing this issue, also highlighted the fact that some South African politicians have been using inflammatory rhetoric to stir up the people,
to instigate people
exactly.
to go against Nigerians.
But I have a clip we're going to show our audience now about the South African president addressing this issue. He was saying it's the people that were protesting or doing what they were doing were anti-crime, not really against the people, the immigrants. Let's take a listen, take a look at that video.
Let's watch and see.
Firstly, that is a debatable point, whether South Africans are xenophobic. I don't think you would have the numbers that you have of foreigners. And I don't think you would sit for years and years without any pass out if South African was xenophobic. In the majority of cases, only when there are such incidents where people take the law into their own hands. And generally, people who come from outside, because they don't have places to stay, etc. And also the kind of employment they have. If, for an example, you look at how it has been done in other areas, wherein they open a lot of businesses right? It becomes so obvious that it is not, the numbers are too big. And with time, and people begin to feel, what is this? You will recall an incident in Soweto. They were having shops. Nobody had ever thought the foreigners had got shops here until a young man was trying to steal and the foreigner shot him. And that became the problem.
Okay, Jacob Zuma there speaking. He said the protests were anti-crime, not anti-immigrants. What is your take on that?
You know, I'm highly disappointed at his speech. First of all, he should have condemned the act. Look.
He's previously condemned such acts.
But listening to what is coming out of his mouth is not encouraging to me as a president.
Why not?
That those people that were protesting that destroy Nigerians' properties, that male Nigerians in South Africa, so they were anti-crime, and that's how you solve criminality. If that is the issue, the police should be the one. So does it mean that they have the right to set the place ablaze, burn their property down? Is that what you are telling me? I disagree with this position. I solidly disagree. That is unacceptable. I don't know about you, but I think with Nigerians, sometimes, you know, a king is never respected in his hometown. And if we allow them, like the president speaking like this, to look us down like this, it will be very sad. And I disagree with his speech. That is not the spirit that should come from a president of a nation of South Africa. I don't expect that from him. He must first of all condemn the act. If there's any issue at all, nobody has the right to take laws into his or her hand. So there are police, there are law enforcement that should apprehend those that have committed crime, which I also would be against. Those who want to live and live within the law, content of the law, I appreciate that. But those who commit crime, the best thing to do is the law to take its call. The police can do that. Do not use the people to start destroying properties. You know, want to mail Nigerian? Come on now.
Let me. There's a video we're going to bring up shortly. It's interesting you mentioned the issue of police taking charge. Now we have a video that will be brought up shortly about Nigerians and their experience or experiences there. You know, they actually point the finger at the police for not acting, for even, you know, supporting, as it were, those actions. Perhaps the video is ready now. Okay, let's take a look at that video.
All right.
Because I saw them breaking everything, next thing I just saw fire. I couldn't come inside again. On my coming inside, I want to rush inside to go and take my son's passport, my passport, or my wife's passport. The light was too much, so I had to run back. I was inside the next house. I was just looking at my properties burning. Can you imagine your properties burning in front of you? You can't do anything. Even like they took like more than 1 hour. The people that even came, I saw police with them. 3 police, 3 new police. They were with them. We were even shouting, please help us. They were driving 3 good police. They were driving. They drove us.
Do not on the head. Not xenophobia. Let's just. But you are trying to understand Nigerians. Let's have the fear of God. Not everybody. Wait, you have come in, my sister. We are Yoruba people. We have been here for over 12 years. We pray for South Africans. We have branch all over. I have a child. I will never pray that what I cannot expect for my child to be done for another person.
How does that? You just saw that video now. What is going through your mind right now?
No, it is sad. You know, I believe in peace. I don't believe in violence. I don't think that you can get it right by going through violent role. But somebody was telling me yesterday, he said, E.J, you cannot get peace without war. Why do we have all this war? I don't understand what's going on in our mind. You know, this is not how I was raised. This is not. Used to feel the pain. It's like whatever is going on in South Africa, Nigerian was feeling the pain. Nigerian stood with South African government when they were in difficulty, the apartheid days.
I could imagine the way every Nigerian, every household, it's like as if we were inside South Africa. But to now begin to see what is happening in the 21st century. And I'm just saying, I say, may his soul rest in peace, Nelson Mandela. I don't think Nelson Mandela will want to see such a thing happening. Because he's a man of peace, a man who believes that we as Africans must live together in harmony, rather than castigating and try to go using dubious manner, to mail, to harm, and to destroy ourselves. We can never go anywhere with such attitude. So, what is Christianity? What is Christianity? To be Christ-like. What is love? They say love is God and God is love. And we always talk about, if you go to South Africa, I have visited South Africa many occasions. Right. You go, went to a church, praise and worship, clapping hand. Can you leave your church and come outside to now conduct yourself in a different manner, thinking about how to destroy another person's property, to destroy his home, to destroy his belongings, to destroy the same Nigerians that fought for you for God's sake? We have a lot of South Africans here in Nigeria. We have a lot of South African businessmen and women here in Nigeria. I see them as my brothers and my sisters. I wouldn't want to take arms, take gun, to start causing mayhem. No. I don't know what is going on, but I believe the end will justify the means. But this cannot continue. Okay,
as we close right now, what is your advice, your words? Because a lot of Nigerians are not happy about it. The other day, the National Association of Nigerian Students went on a protest. The same day, the High Commissioner of South Africa was summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What is your message to those Nigerians out there who are even telling the South Africans to leave the country? What is your message to them, briefly?
No, my message, not only to them, is to Nigerian government, our government, that we must do the needful to make Nigeria a better place for everyone to live. If Nigeria is in good state, I don't think nobody wants to leave this country. I left this country many years ago. I went and spent over 27 years in America. God bless the United States of America for giving me the opportunity. So that's why I say it's not about white or black now. It is about we now. The white people, we are crying that they don't accept us. We Africans can't even accept ourselves. So I just want, if they are saying that you cannot live in their country, come back home. Okay. Nigeria is a beautiful place. Something good can come out of Nigeria. I believe it. First of all, seeing a crime being committed, failure to report the scene of that crime to the nearest law enforcement agent, you are as guilty as the man or woman who committed that crime. So we must be our brother's keeper. It's going to take all of us to fight the fight against corruption, the war against corruption. President Buhari cannot solve the problem alone. You cannot solve the problem alone. All of us collectively can solve the problem that corruption is the problem why these children in South Africa, all over the world, they are going through what they are going through.
Thank you.
Create a Nigeria, better Nigeria. You see all Nigerians will be moving home.
Thank you very much, Honorable E.J. Agbanayinma. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
And again, thank you to our wonderful viewers out there.
And with those words, we end this edition of Hindsight. My name is Shegu Jubu. Please stay with us. Hook up with us on Twitter. Tweet us and we'll tweet you right back. We're at Hindsight STV, or you can even email us on hindsightsilverbird@gmail.com. See you again next week. Goodbye.